Right, so I started talking. Then the camera froze and I thought, oh heck, what's gone on? Then it appeared that I was having a phone call. A phone call was coming in, which I meant to answer. It wasn't a number I recognised. And I pressed the wrong button by mistake. So if it's important, I'll leave a message, and if not... Anyway, shall I start from the beginning? I'll start from the beginning. This morning I was playing a game on my phone. It's one that I play probably far too much, but I ran the battery down on my phone, which meant I couldn't do any recording because there was no battery. So part of the reason I haven't filmed much today is because battery issues. I don't know at what point the day turns from late afternoon to early evening, but we're around that particular point now. James is at work. I'm going to be on my own for dinner this evening. He's not working tomorrow. And then I was starting to talk about my nephew. When he first started talking, he would phrase things, when he was talking about things that had happened in the past, it would be, I did, and then the preterite of the verb. So it would be things like, I did eat my breakfast. I did play with my friends. I did go to the park, etc., etc., etc. And I always find that a really cute construction. It always made me smile when he said it. And I kind of wanted to use that construction, even though it's not technically grammatically correct. And I know better. I am more linguistically capable than a toddler who is learning to talk. Having said all that, it's fair to say that this morning I did sleep. After James went to work, I was like, forget this, I'm going back to bed. I don't know how long I slept for, but I did fall back asleep whilst listening to some YouTube videos about a YouTuber called Susie Lou, who's a name in the gaming community, who had been going through and reporting people's videos for copyright violation whilst violating copyright herself, from what I understand. So it was one of these ones that came up on my suggestions. I clicked it without really thinking about it, and then that led me down into a whole complete separate rabbit hole. So goodness knows what my history is going to be like of all the videos that played whilst I was asleep. Also, that's why my battery was flat. I'm not going to be doing any sewing today. James isn't working tomorrow, so my plan is to... Where's my plan? No, my plan is to get the sewing machine out tomorrow, but do it whilst he's here to help with the bobbins that keep getting tangled. The two things I would like to do before the end of the day. Firstly, there's a whole load of paper that needs to be shredded. So now I've shredded some of the paper. Those shredded up bits will then get put in these boxes here and sealed up to be put into the recycling to be taken away next week. Secondly, I have found my old t-shirt, or the old t-shirt that I was looking for a couple of days ago, and I'm going to follow government advice on how to make a no-sew face mask. I'm going to do that one for me, but it will be interesting, I think, to see how good instructions are. Government guideline says that you cut a line 20 centimetres from the bottom of the t-shirt. However, my t-shirt is curved, so I don't know whether my 20 centimetres is supposed to start here or up here. So I've drawn a line. This is the new pretend bottom of my t-shirt. From a point 2 centimetres below the top right hand corner of the fabric. Yeah. Make a 15 centimetre horizontal cut through both sides of the fabric. Cut down towards the bottom of the fabric until you reach approximately 2 centimetres above the bottom edge. So I've got to this point, I followed the instructions. The next part is to cut these two to make the ties around the back of my face. And this is to cover my face. And I'm not entirely sure how big my face is, but this t-shirt will be about 60 centimetres across. So that's, yeah. So this is what my face mask looks like. I have followed the instructions absolutely to the letter. Admittedly, they did say the ideal size of t-shirt would be a small or extra small. I am not a small or extra small kind of person. I think, so I'm going to have to do that because I can't actually breathe with the fabric flapping in my face or up my nose. I think the instructions could have been a bit more specific with measurement sizes, rather than just saying use a small t-shirt. Say use any kind of t-shirt, this is the measurement you need. That was a badly written pattern. I can see what they're trying to do, but it was a badly written pattern. Let's edit. Actually, do you know what? I'm going to do that in the morning. My aim for today was to make one of these. I've made one of these. It's gone midnight. It's bedtime. I will sort out the damage in the morning. I'm also going to be interestedly looking forward to James this evening coming back and letting me know how the blue face mask went. I suspect he's going to want to make changes to it, and that's fine, we can do that. But he did send me a WhatsApp picture earlier today of a sign that he saw. That's, you know, there are signs all over London Underground now saying, please wear face covering when travelling on our services. So I think I get wife points or brownie wife points or whatever variation it is. But yeah, I think I did well to make sure he had face coverings, 2 separate coverings in 2 days in a row. This here is my trusted sewing machine that doesn't particularly like me. So does seem very, very weird doing a recording in our cupboard in the spare room. But I did do a bit of a video the other day, which I then deleted because there was just far too much talking about the sewing machine. So that sewing machine there is a gift. It was a gift from my dad and his wife very many years ago, and I have never really got on with it. The sewing machine my mother had when we were growing up was a Singer, which I remember using from time to time, and I remember it being quite easy, certainly easier than that one in there. My plan was to buy a new one and then sell that one off to cover the cost, but it does feel kind of mean doing that if that was a gift. Also, I don't know if the problem is the sewing machine or me, and what I don't want is to buy a new sewing machine and still have problems with it and still not like it and still not want to use it, because then I'm no closer to a solution, just 100 or so quid poorer. James's idea, which is a very good one, was to go somewhere that sells sewing machines and try a different one so I could get a feel for the one I liked and find out what features they had and what were the good things to have and what I wanted and what I really didn't need. Problem is, the only place near us that does that kind of a thing, that sells sewing machines, is closed due to COVID. So the TV is on in the background. This was an advert for kitchen towel. And I saw this appear in the corner: shop responsibly, only buy what you need. I am guessing that's in a response to the COVID crisis, but I have never seen that before on an advert. It may have existed on adverts before today, but I've just never seen it. The thing with my phone is if I'm setting up to take a photograph, it looks like there's a lot of light on my face. Once I change it to video, the amount of light then just goes... Anyway, I have here my pre-COVID or pre-lockdown or pre-whatever you want to call it to-do list, and it is a relic from the past. So I found it the other day, it was kind of in a pile of stuff. Update the Poland risk assessment. Not necessary, we didn't have our briefing weekend and the trip has been postponed until next year. Order sporks. Ditto. Email the 3T group. No idea what's going on with that particular project, but I presume it's kind of on hold at the moment because everybody's off dealing with their own thing. But as it's a guiding project, I have no idea if it's going ahead next year, if it's going ahead the year after, if it's been cancelled, what's going on. Sign up for the pre-Jamboree task. Again, Jamboree's not happening this year, it's happening next year. There's no rush for that. Wash plastic bottle hoops. That was for a craft activity for our briefing weekend, which didn't happen. Well, it did happen, just not face to face. Update kit list and write explanatory notes. Ditto. A new list is on the needles. Paper. Whatever. Before it gets too dark, this is the handle for my dodgy bag. Planned handle. And it didn't quite work. It was hand sewn, but the seams are kind of dodgy-ish. I'm not happy with the seams. I don't think it's properly visible here. Maybe that's visible. So that's that ridge there, that line there, that should be flat. That's the edge of the seam. That shouldn't be there. So for this, as far as I can see it, I have 4 options, maybe 5. 1, ditch it and start again. 2, make it into a hair scrunchie. 3, leave it as it is, but always look at it going, I'm not happy with that. Or 4, cover the ends with bias binding. So bias binding down there. Might make it look a little bit more classy, and it will hide the flaws on the seams. To be honest, I think that's not going to be enough fabric for a scrunchie, and it's too thin. I could, yeah. Also, actually, do you know what? I think I'm going to go with the bias binding thing, simply because this is the fabric which had the interfacing on the inside of it, so it was slightly stiffer. And that's why I chose that particular fabric for the handle. If I redid the handle with thinner fabric, I wouldn't have that same effect. You can't see it from here, it does still look quite floppy, but it feels slightly stiffer. So maybe I shall investigate the bias binding thing.